up, misfits and y'all, to this episode of Skeptic and Ranting. I got baptized? No. Not ourselves, but we are watching a video from the channel Russell Brand called I Got Baptized. This is why. Dun, dun, dun. And we're always interested in the why more than the what, because the what, the what is easier. We get a lot of the same whats, because if it's just a trinity, then it's going to be mostly the same shtick over and over.
What?
But the why.
What?
But yes,
Why?
won't you?
What's that?
Why? Why?
What's that?
I'm sorry. Did you know our band is called The Who? Who? Yes. Huh. Anyway, won't you join James W. and myself, Amy Newman, as we have a good time and owls dipping ourselves like religious guacamole.
Sharp.
Woohoo! Thank you, y'all, for joining us on the intertubes. I don't know how Al Gore did it, but thank you, Man Bear Pig, his arch enemy as well. Please don't forget to like,
You'll have
follow,
to buy my book.
Buy my favorite day.
I talk about it in there.
Yeah. Slightly different person with a Hawaiian shirt who also does gravity experiments. So he did as well add to science. Just he got judged and peer reviewed by peers of the court. Anyway, has he been doing stuff around the rounds? Is Kent still out there?
He's doing Genesis Baptist Church videos. Being his channel is back, baby.
That's kind of on topic, because you just hear the word Baptist just throw it around, and today we are talking baptizing.
It's got a canal out there in the back that he baptizes people in. Probably keeps like
he's got a sewer with a faucet and a hose somewhere. For Jesus.
That's why when I did the fake Otangelo thing, I was saying to Matt Delonte, like, Matt, I baptize you in canal on the back in Brazil. You come to Brazil, I baptize you.
Oh my. Oh yes, I can't do it in orange. I tried to do an orange jello impression. I don't know what that one was.
It's been a while since we heard from him, so hopefully he's still
I just need to
right out there.
Maybe I don't need the accent. I just need to start talking about the Shroud of Turin. How it's such a good argument. Also, I love how his two arguments are things like the Shroud of Turin and then genetics. As in, like, let's pretend that we are actually having a scientific conversation about biology. And then here is this clear fraud that got created 1,000+ years after the guy died, but it gets used as a MacGuffin a lot in religious movies. It's always good. You get to find it and go, "Oh my God, the Shroud of Turin."
I keep seeing new videos about it. They're not letting that one go. The diehards, they keep saying, "Oh, new test of the Shroud of Turin." Oh, yeah, okay.
It's just like every once in a while they find the Ark or Eden. Every once in a while they find a new.
It's been on SJ's channel. Makes sense.
SJ's channel.
It doesn't do the atheist rounds anymore.
Antangelo has, I hate to say it, once again, Antangelo, come on and say that I'm wrong, but he has a little bit of like defeatism in his voice than he used to have. I'm trying to think of the other guy that has that I'm trying to compare him to. not PMars. There's another theist, another Christian, that he came on here once. And he's just like, "Oh, I'm here, and I know you atheists aren't going to believe it." P-Town, yes. P-Town just... But hey, that's where we want them, James. Yar.
He's like, yeah, I basically, he met his wife and he fell in love with her, and she was a Christian. It wasn't going to work out if he wasn't, so he just decided to become a Christian. And hey,
it argument a la Ussy. That's what it rhymes with. But yeah,
wanted it to make sense. He couldn't make it make sense, so he said, "You know what? It doesn't have to make sense. That doesn't even matter anymore. I'll just believe it anyway." That's what the essence of faith is. You just believe it anyway. It doesn't have to make sense.
James, it is the evidence of things unseen. Wait.
In fact, that's just
the
more ridiculous it is. The more ridiculous it is, the more faith you have to have, which is even better, right? More faith is good. Gotta like it. It's just important for us to have this.
Exactly. The sillier it is, and the more you take it on faith, the greater you are as a person. Written in the Holy Book, affirming the Holy Book.
That is not circular reasoning, though.
No, it's not. Never. But yes, if you like, follow, subscribe, there. We said it, YouTube. You can let them go now. Yes, if you do that and then you hit the all button,
I got you by the ball, Amy. Yeah,
by the lady here. Listen, the TOS is wonderful. Soros pays us well, and I get one free space cannon, one free space laser, a space cannon.
Baptizing.
A space cat would be kind of difficult, right? If we're getting away from lasers, though, at that point, if I have to take physical objects and shoot them at another ship.
Pretty sure they already have the laser cannons on the moon. I saw a video. The moon, I guess, was brought here by the lizards to be like an observation base.
James. It makes too much sense not to be true.
I mean, it is a very unique moon in the solar. There's no other moon like it. It is quite exceptional, but I mean, doesn't mean.
I've also been told by a small group somewhere that there was a guy who made a crack in the moon. What a weird miracle! All
there was
miracles
a time
are weird,
before
though.
the moon. If you look at the ancient writings, they'll say, "Oh, there was a time before the moon where there was no moon, when it hadn't been brought here yet." I mean, yeah. Hey, the moon is hollow, Ember. Well, yeah. I mean, it's they're heading towards that small moon. That's
so. Wait, if it's hollow and also made of cheese, we could call it a cheese puff if we wanted to really get technical. I think. We're getting to real science.
Was that Moonfall where the moon is this like AI controlled spaceship? And was that what I'm thinking of? The movie?
I do think you are. I haven't seen it, but I feel like AI controlled spaceship.
Yeah.
And yes.
Yeah.
It makes too much sense. It makes about as much sense as the Bible or many stories in the Bible.
That's it. Yeah, that's it, Ember. It was a decent movie, if I recall. But
and speaking of everyone in chat, because I was allowed by YouTube and Soros. What is up, Ember and Shade and Ian Davenport? Woohoo! And Captain Dusk and Victoria and Robin and woohoo! Oh my goodness, so much sending in at $2 super chat. I'm trying to see if it is a super sticker. It's just a super awesome. Sending so much love, John.
Thanks, John.
Thank you so much. Love, 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 love. But yes, so much love, John and Davegar and Doorknob Head and Gizmo says love to everybody. And yeah, we're gonna do some just open house, or what is it? Housekeeping. That's what Sam Harris calls it. And then we're going to get into the opposition viewpoint, which I guess is people who believe that getting dunked in water will connect you to a higher power. Yes?
Amy is an avid housekeeper, believe it or not.
I am.
You've been in there for like a couple years now. Have you ever found the washer and dryer room yet?
It's funny.
It's around there somewhere.
Haven't, but I have someone that I feel like I can send down there, and they would be able to discover for it.
Yeah.
It's not only that, I find that when they wear a white and black froofy outfit and talk in a French accent, I find they're able to do my laundry 50% better. I don't know what that is.
That's right, Shane. They should do it like baptisms, like dunk tanks at Carnival. Like, of course, like when Ken Hovind is baptizing you, because they put their other hand is probably reaching down to your wallet to try to, relieve you of a little bit of cash there. We've got our gift store. We've got lots of DVDs for you to buy. Since I'm performing this baptism for free, the least you can do is buy a few DVDs, right?
And they're extremely cheap, I'm sure, probably.
$50, get the whole set of 5 DVDs. Set. Yeah, I mean, produced in 1996. They're getting lots of. They're getting every dollar's worth out of that production.
And I'll also set up a fun. Well, there's a surprise talked about guest, which I got from James. I almost don't want to spoil it now. I'm just going to talk about it. But I was very happy when I announced it. James was like, "Oh," because he was giving the who's who of conspiracy theorists, and I hate to say nut jobs because that's mean.
I have to see if I still have one of those books from like 1999
about this author that we will see. Yes, because Russell Brand apparently looks up to this person and has a very wise
visionary.
A visionary, some would say. Yes. Oh my goodness. And it's always worse than you think, somehow. We're talking.
You're thinking like, who could it be? Who could it be? Alex Jones, David Irving, like who out there on the fringe level of thought could it be? But no, it's probably worse.
Somehow. And yes, so we're gonna do our quick. What's up, Dale? What's up, everybody? Keep on saying hi to us. In fact, tag us at James W. or at Amy Newman, and that will help us see your comment and show it up on the screen. There are lovely ways to support the show, like super chats, like John did. Thank you so much, John. And I'll dance around and we'll interact with them. And there's super thanks if you're watching on the upload, and we're just sending thanks now. We also have our evolving badge system. Evolution is a theory and a fact. I'm going to keep on saying this because it is true. I still don't understand how we have to have that argument in... I don't even like the term first world country because it's a very biased thing to begin with. But in a technological society, we still have to debate whether things evolve. I don't know. Cornerstone of modern biology. It is. But if you also disagree with us, and I'll keep on saying that, please come say why. Tell us. We also almost always give preference on our open mics and everything, and so don't be scared. They love free speech until it's defending their views. Defending their views very hard. Yes, evolving badge system. I also I've been thinking about trying to make maybe either a vote on new badges or a way that people can send in ideas. Because I like the ones that Gizmo whipped out of me. However, I want more. They like the YouTubes allows us more as the community grows, and I just like emojis, and they're fun, and I think that's enough about emojis. Though they clear up text messages, all right, and chat. If you ever wonder and want your text to be exactly have that emotional response, you gotta find that right emoji, ladies and gentlemen. You might be overthinking it. It helps. Anyway, don't forget to also have Patreon. It's at patreon.com/Amy Newman. Hold on. I'm gonna get the link. Everyone likes to hear it when you manually clickety clack. It's Foley. Actual Foley. There we go. You can support us at patreon.com/Amy Newman. It helps keep the lights on. And yeah, we're sending love out finally to our supporters, our channel members, and our Patreons, all of our supporters out here at the Skeptic and Ranting community, like Azo, reminding us that if you are leaving religion, you have a community here. Come into the Skeptic and Ranting. I didn't even mean to make an innuendo, and now just natural. Anyway, because that is one of the things. People need alternatives. This is why stuff like this happens. Because I think that, Russell was into a lot of conspiracy theories. He was an atheist, and I always say I just let those things go over to the right over here. I would always see his polls that were always so biased. It was like, why is the New World destroying everyone? What an amazing poll. I guess not biased in your leading of thought at all. And yet maybe I should have paid more attention, because just because you're an atheist does not mean you're a skeptic. We hope that you're a skeptic. I take a skeptic over anything. In a weird way, as much as this is like an anti-religion channel. I've got cough, excuse me.
Moderate skepticism.
Yeah, well, I mean, towards the fundamentalists, the more liberal and, peaceful religious person that they become, the more that they, of course, we're going to make better friends with. But I would take, that's kind of where I was going also, is I would actually take a theist who is pro-vaccine than an atheist that is anti-vaccine. I think I'm slowly learning. Like, even though I think that theism is the number one superstition in the world, and I really do like creating a community of atheists, because I think we need to have an alternative for when they leave religion. Skepticism has to be the top level. And I get it. Everyone has their different versions, subtle different version of skeptic. The flat earthers call themselves skeptics. But to get as close to my No True Scotsman as I can, a skeptic is someone I think that generally goes towards where the evidence is. And if the evidence generally actually leads with many of the mainstream science, I don't even like mainstream science. It's really, we can cut that word off, leads with just this science, just as alternative science is generally called bullshit. Do. It was a long. I can't help myself sometimes. There is ranting at the top of the show, though. But yes, speaking of which, sending love to Chris, reminding us that you can be a theist, skeptic. Russell Brand is not one. He hasn't been skeptical for a long time. I like some of his views. Like 10 years ago, he just seemed to challenge some of the people that were heads of religious institutions. And now somehow he is at the altar of a religious institution. James, it's like a Star Wars story. Yeah. Want to kill the bad guy so much, you end up becoming his apprentice. Yeah, tale as old as time. Or at least the 80s. Sending love to Rachel Holen, reminding us that if you are taking slaves from the nations around you, chances are you're not the good guys. Once again, you can go into a bar, collect a femboy by just asking for their number and putting them in a French maid's outfit. You don't have to invade a country. The subtle things you apparently won't learn in the Bible. But it says thou shalt not kill. Yeah, well, it says that after all the killing. It takes a lot, like a lot of killing to get to thou shalt not kill. I forget which comedian just brought up that, like, I think it was Seth Meyers who just brought up that thou shalt not kill is buried in, like, the 6th commandment. It's not even, like, the 1st or the 10th. It's not your opener or your closer, as he points out. Somehow it's just... yeah. Anyway, sending love to Reid, sending love to davegar. Saw him out there sending so much love, davegar, reminding us the world is round. The world is 4.5 billion years old. And if you think differently, come on and argue with us. But it's not actually us you have to convince. It really is.
I no longer have that book. Damn it.
Which book were you looking for?
The Biggest Secret.
Yeah. Is it
it's David Icke's book. It's David Icke's book. It's where he first revealed, like, the lizard people hypothesis.
Dun dun dun. Honestly, it took many years for us to, really understand human culture. It took us centuries to, really understand space travel. But now that we've come to the Milky Way galaxy, us lizard people, and it would, I can't help it. That phrase, lizard people. They are both people and lizards, which is what you would. Would that make us also 8? There's 8 people, and then there's lizard people.
Being interdimensional, I don't know if the galaxy in our sense means anything to them.
That's true.
Being 4-dimensional,
they probably just look like lizards, and so it's convergent evolution.
Yeah, they they don't actually, from what I'm told, they don't necessarily change shape. They just are able to alter how you perceive them in your mind, like your perception of them. Yeah, like she's doing it right now. Yeah.
Sorry, I was trying to go to another dimension where they have McDonald's, but the fries are purple. It's the little things.
A new color.
New color.
Yeah. Imagine a new color. You can't do that. That's what Kenobi says. Like, just imagine when we get to heaven, there could be lots of new colors for us to see. We can't imagine a new color, but there might be in heaven. Yeah.
But why? Okay. It's just easy to make shit up.
Yeah.
That really is. Sending love, Davegar.
The women's knees never get sore. They could just keep going indefinitely. They never say no. They never complain. They never
no, just like those virgins.
They never need to eat. They never need to sleep.
Once again, this is another comedian's joke, but they never say which gender the virgins are, pointing that out. So you get to heaven, and it could be 72 guys trying to point out all of the different nuances of Halo lore. Just actually, pointing out.
Technically, part of the Muslim mythos is you also get like boy servants. If I understand that correctly, doesn't necessarily imply sexual, but I guess it could.
Assalamu alaikum, my brother.
Yeah. You can also get a number of boy servants, but
I know. Listen,
what you do with them at that point?
It's about time the women get something. This isn't fair. Then again, religion and equality go together like peanut butter and acid. But
yeah.
And not the good kind, not the hallucinogen. Let's talk and send love out to Dale Pastel, reminding us we look for empirical evidence, and if you have to say the statement that God can't give us empirical evidence, then your God is not all powerful. Then they just make up all excuses. He just doesn't want to do it right now. Exactly, he could, but he won't be tested.
Faith, though. He wants you to have faith.
Also, isn't it weird that, like, he won't be tested, but oftentimes the explanation we get for why life even is a thing is because it's a test. He likes to be the test giver. He doesn't want to be the test taker, James.
He gets to be God. He's already got the job. The job's not available. That's what Satan went wrong. He wanted the job, but the job's already taken. There's no vacancy.
Damn you, Satan. Also, satin, 50% soft air.
I mean, it's like so what did God do to earn this position, or to no, nothing. He just is. Oh, well, it was great to be that guy, right? Yeah, great to be that guy.
We're gonna need a definition of is.
But look at his glory. Well, glory. He's all powerful. He can do whatever the fuck he wants without any effort.
I honestly,
what is that derived glory from? Like, oh, look at all. Yeah, he did it instantly with no effort. He's all powerful. He's omnipotent. He can do whatever.
And James, I actually have recently found an alternative to his glory. It's extremely similar. It's actually, well, funny enough, it's like a perfect circle. Some would call it a hole. And you see, from this hole, one can earn their glory.
Your name is Ernesto?
I think so.
So, maybe Banana Man, he could say, look at this bagel. It is perfectly designed with a hole in the middle. Same with these donuts. Intelligently designed with a hole in the middle. Yeah. Are we going to say that this donut just started as a piece of dough and that the donut hole naturally formed over time? Or
a donut needs a donut maker, James.
Yeah, so it had to be intelligently designed to have this hole. So, I mean, just you could put 5 donuts on your penis and somebody could eat them off.
So that escalated quickly, and I'm all for it. And this is what I'd like my weekend to be. Continue.
Yeah, just go to Dunkin' Donuts and have fun.
That's right. Or Krispy Kreme. We're open-minded in this country. I actually prefer Dunkin' Donuts, which seems to be a heathen view. However,
Krispy Kreme is there's just not as many around here. There's no nearby one.
they just, with their glaze, they all taste the same to me. Like, I like that glaze, and I'll eat it. But I like having the Dunkin' Donuts where it's you got a donut and then there's glaze on top instead of the whole donut is glazed.
Yeah. No, it makes sense.
That being said, I don't know which is better, Papa John's or KFC. These are, Papa John or not Papa John's. What the hell is it?
You're trying to think Popeyes.
Popeyes, thank you. Popeyes
KFC
or
is definitely
KFC.
better than Popeyes. Definitely.
See, you think that? See, and I go back and forth. See, Rachel, she's like, screw that KFC. I'm on Popeyes. Yeah. I'm like, I don't know. I like both.
I've always been disappointed with Popeyes. Like,
really?
Yeah. Like, very underwhelmed for like the hype they get. I never thought it was. I've never
tasted their fries. Their fries, though. Oh. Yeah, they got curly fries. I like curly fries.
Curly fries are good. Robin,
sponsored by capitalism.
KFC, like they're the best coleslaw you'll ever have. Good mashed potatoes. Good biscuits.
No, they need to go back to their wedges. I like their fries, but
their wedges were good.
But why ruin a classic?
I tried like their rice at Popeyes before. They have like a dirty rice, and it was just not good at all. Maybe I'm just not Cajun enough to appreciate it. But
I love that. Not only do I love Cajun, this has nothing to do with Cajun, but I just got sriracha honey wings. Oh, my baby. You wanted food, don't you? But hold on, I do have to give her love to everybody. Yes.
Oh, so is that Penelope?
Yeah. It is not.
Oh, Buttercup.
It means that I need to get her the weight, like the hamster wheel for cats. Not only do I want to get a hamster wheel for cats, I was telling Rachel this, and it's never going to happen. But James, you want to be first in line to invest. I want to make human hamster wheels.
Well, that makes total sense because this is a person right here who thinks that hamsters and cats are related.
Exactly.
And humans are related to hamsters and cats.
But how funny would it be to have a human-sized hamster wheel? Not only that,
amoeba.
But it would be so easy to sell the exact same accessories that come like little trays.
I'm pretty sure they like have that because I've seen it in movies before. Like a space station version of a human running on a hamster wheel to to maintain your muscle mass in space.
All right, James, you ready? We're gonna mass produce them. We got this. I'm trying to combine words here. I'm gonna think of a great name for it.
You don't want to be on the hand. You want to be standing next to it with a riding crop, making sure the guy is running fast enough.
Yes, you're damn straight. And in my case, I'm damn bisexual. But these things happen.
The treadmills they used to in the Victorian era prisons, the treadmills they would have where you would sometimes it would turn a mill or like pump water. Sometimes it would do nothing. It was just mindless punishment, just forcing inmates to run on a treadmill. And a lot of them like there was no back, so if you stopped, you would get your ass slammed on the ground.
See, I want middle-aged suburban moms to do this unironically. That would be my heart's.
Soccer moms.
Yes, I want soccer moms to be doing it with a jumpsuit.
With their moms providing.
I want them to be watching a daytime program, and every once in a while they're walking yoga with the hamster wheel, they just lean over and go to the little worm. James, I might be crazy. I might be. Anyway, sending so much love to Regos, reminding us. Also, I'm open to suburban dads. Let's not be sexist here. Sending love out to Regos, reminding us we have a skeptic Bible study. For some reason, when I switched in my mind to a man tracksuit, it was an older Russian guy smoking with his showing his hair.
Was he riding on a horseback with no shirt?
Yes, very specifically. Regos reminding us we have to do our skeptic Bible study. We have to do a lot of things. I'm sorry, Gizmo. Keep on hitting me. And finally, last but not least, Ian Davenport reminding us that apologetic arguments suck. I saw someone trying to legitimately. That's true. But it's the good kind. When you have an apologetic argument, it just leaves you cold, dry, and a little bit feeling
strung out. Yes. Out, like the end of like a 3-day bender, and you're just done. Your body's given all it can give.
Also, Frank's Red Hot. I do like spicy.
You like hot stuff.
I do. Can you show me a half pine cone, half elephant? Yeah, I had someone really does believe the banana argument. For whatever reason, these arguments trickle down.
Can't help him believes it.
They're so silly. And they only work when you have someone who just is a con artist but talks really confidently. Like, you think you're related to a banana?
It's like, I called Ray Comfort and I said, no, that's a great argument. Keep making it. Don't let those atheists tell you, no, the banana is perfectly designed. The atheists think the banana came from a rock.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
They think all the bananas in the universe were squished into a dot.
But then when I say, no, we come from carbon, they go, well, isn't carbon a rock? Well, yeah, but why don't you say we come from carbon? Oh, because you'll sound silly if you do that. Right.
The term rock, they use the term very loosely.
Yeah, well, they use a lot of these terms, unfortunately, either loosely or wrong. But sending so much love, I see Pragmatic Crystal, and I see Jester, and I see Lunar, and I see Jen, and I see God equals the square root, and Big Bear Mama, and Rachel, woo, and everybody out there.
Rachel.
I am about to be right back for a second, and then we're going to watch I would call it the opposition viewpoint. Oh my, though I have to. Before I do that, we have Shane Villowitz, a member chat from 22 months. If pies come from apples, why still apples? Oh my god.
Let me do the Hoven dodge. Right. Well, you think all the apples in the world were squished into a dot smaller than a period. All the apple trees, all the watermelons, all the whales, including their 15-foot penises, all squished into a dot. That's what you believe. I'm just saying that's your religion. You're entitled to it. You can believe it. I'm not. I just don't want to spend my tax dollars for, totally just sidestepping, not addressing the argument, not addressing the point of it, just trying to reductio ad absurdum. Just
Indeed, and that's because they try and crush time and history into a single unit. But no, we know how the heavier elements formed from star explosions, from supernova.
Well, that would be chemical evolution. Where do we get all these elements from? Yeah, we know that, Kent. Do we know that? Yeah, we do.
But we get the same thing that Shane is talking about when, if we're apes, why are there still apes? I'm trying to think how they frame it. And it's because, well, there is a separation. You can still have Europeans who can still exist and come over to the United States and take over other people's lands. I like apples. I forget the Bill Burr joke where he's talking about, Goodwill Hunting, that comeback would never work if that guy didn't like apples. He's sitting there and he's like, "Hey, you like apples?" He's like, "Yeah." "Well, how about them apples?" But if he had said no, he kind of would have had to have stumbled away and been like, "You like apples?" "No, I'm allergic." "Oh, well, how about them apples?" It doesn't work. I'm very lucky he liked apples.
This is so like off the wall, but I just have that phrase, "How about them apples?" like burnt into my mind from like 2008. There's one, I don't even know if he's a thing anymore. I don't know even remember the guy's name, but he was like a conservative YouTube pundit like guy, and he was talking about like the evil, like how basically if they did the public option, it would destroy America, the public option for healthcare, because the government plan doesn't have to make a profit, but the private insurance does. So you're going to make private insurance compete against the government plan that doesn't need to make profit. How about them apples?
Those apples
so it's going to be a race to the bottom. Everybody will just get worse.
Yeah, everyone, once we start keeping everyone healthy, then basically the country, I think, will explode. Gizmo's like, "I want attention."
Meow, meow,
meow,
meow, meow.
We always need more Gizmo time.
Your complaints. Yeah, give them your complaints. Tell them how mistreated you are, how you don't get enough cuddles and not enough cat treats. No, never enough treats.
Never enough cat treats.
Never enough cat treats. Never enough cuddles.
And okay, while the star of the show is on, I'm actually going to be right back 1 second. We are talking.
There you go, Shane. I would be down
with a stream where it's just Gizmo. That would be actually an amazing stream. A stream with just cats.
Let's get a camera to like track him like automatically.
A Gizmo cam. Yeah. And okay, we are talking. I got baptized. James? Me? No. Apparently, Russell Brand got baptized, and we are gonna hear his story.
From someone who's actually been baptized.
Yeah, I haven't been. So James.
Yeah, baptism, though, Gizmo president. Yes, Gizmo. That's my hand. That's my arm, buddy. Yeah, baptism. The whole concept of it. Well, it's really silly, but you have to think what why have this? What is this even from? And well, it's an initiation ritual, and I could just imagine if you remember Paul, when he had his understudy Timothy, and there was a controversy about whether Paul was going to circumcise Timothy. And I remember, I can just imagine Timothy sitting there next to Paul, Paul holding a knife in his hand, debating it. And when he came up with the decision, no, we don't have to circumcise. Like, whoo, okay, all right. I was totally down for it if you said yes. I was going to be okay with it. But, since you said no, I mean, hey, I'm happy with that too. And yeah, so it's equally as, I guess, silly as circumcision, but less harmful, less, you're not risking infection, basically removing a part of the body for no real reason other than, God apparently doesn't like male penises that look like elephant trunks. He thinks it's gross, so he likes it with the covering off. So, why he designed it that way if he doesn't like it, I don't know. Yes, Gizmo. Okay. Yeah, very, very silly. And the Protestants, they actually like undermine baptism. For them, it just becomes like this. Doesn't actually mean anything. It's just this symbolic thing that they do because they love God. Or, Jesus said to do it, so we do it. But the Catholics actually really think that it actually does something, that it actually really cleanses your body of sin. So, if you understand Catholicism, you understand the doctrine of purgatory, that you go through your life, you commit sins, you confess them, or to God or to a priest, depending on the circumstances available. And yeah, God will forgive you and you can go to heaven. But if you haven't done enough penance in this life, or if you still have this sin baggage attached to you, then you end up going to purgatory to pay for your sins there through some type of symbolic suffering, or it's very vague on it. But theoretically, if you were to you could be a mass murderer as a Catholic, but if you have never been baptized, they baptize you and then they kill you, you go straight to heaven, because the baptism has that, it cleanses you of all sin, like all any form of sin. It cleanses you completely. So no purgatory, you go straight to heaven. And that's why like Catholic, a lot of there are Catholic parents out there who will know that the baby inside has severe problems, like it is going to die, it is going to suffer, it will not survive. They will still carry the pregnancy to term so that the baby can be born. They'll immediately baptize it and they'll die, a few minutes later, because then it can go to heaven, as opposed to if were to be killed before then, it would have to go to limbo, which would be a part of hell with no fire. So they don't have any actual sins to be punished for, because they never had any cognitive ability to commit sin, but they still have that original sin from humanity, from the fall. So they can't go to heaven. So they go to limbo, which is just this empty, vapid, useless existence for all eternity. Protestants thought that sounds really messed up. That sounds really stupid. God could just let them go to heaven, because they're making this shit up as, okay, so God could just let them go to heaven. It doesn't matter. So even if a child is born and never gets baptized, if they're, pre-age of reason and they die, they're 4, 5, 6 years old, they probably don't have the awareness of what they're doing to be responsible. They could go to heaven anyway. Because God would not do that. He would not be an asshole and send a 4-year-old to hell for sins that he obviously had no concept of, no culpability for what he was doing, which renders the whole original sin doctrine completely meaningless. But they're making this shit up as they go along. And that's actually like, when you look at the way these different doctrines, they underpin each other, they really don't make sense. They really all contradict, and you end up with these positions that they lead to that are just horrible. It doesn't matter. They find a way out of it. They just invent this loophole that gets out of it. Like if you ask like a Baptist what is original sin, they'll tell you, oh, that's what all humans are born with. But God doesn't actually punish you for it. So what is it exactly? Whereas the Catholics, the traditionalist doctrine, were like, yeah, well, that's the way it is. Take it or leave it. Because they came from an era where they actually had authoritarian control over the religion, over what you had to believe. I guess Protestantism did have that in some ways too, because even the reformers would still burn people at the stake sometimes for denying things like the Trinity, as John Calvin did. He had one of his understudies burnt at the stake for questioning the Trinity. Even though they'll tell you that's only something the Catholics would do. No, not really. They would do it too. Maybe not as prolific. Maybe they never had as much political power as the Catholic Church did, but they were not beyond, committing some murders, atrocities, torture, condemning people to horrible deaths for denying an article of faith, like the Trinity. But why are we even here? So this guy, this celebrity, Russell Brand, why do this? And that's because in our culture, religion, particularly Christianity, but religion in general, is kind of like the ultimate virtue signal. It's kind of like the ultimate, like, I'm a good person, I'm humble, I'm not full of myself, I am lowering myself, I am submitting myself to something greater, something better, something higher. My life has true meaning, objective purpose, and yeah, we're trained automatically to find those people to be more trustworthy, more honorable, more we're just trained by society to look at those people as better. And make no mistake, the people who are not good people will most definitely use those trimmings, those trappings, to make themselves appear to be better. I always say, if you remember a few years ago, Jared Fogle case, remember the guy Subway got sentenced to prison for underage prostitution, all stuff like that. His friend had installed hidden cameras all through his house to monitor his kids, I guess, or neighbor kids when they would come over to videotape surreptitiously these kids and enjoy the footage, I guess, in the way that they would trade the footage between each other, because they actually found it on Subway guy's computer that led them to him, guy that he had given a job, pretty much a do-nothing job in his foundation. Anyway, he got sentenced to 20 years in prison. His wife, however, initially was not. She was not involved in it. And her Facebook page just had God, 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 God all over it. God, 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 all over it, until she was arrested because they found out she was actually partaking in these clandestine rendezvous with these neighborhood kids. She was partaking of the neighborhood kids. Now she's in prison for 35 years. So people will use the trimmings, the veneer of religion, particularly Christian, to make themselves look better. Like, I am a good person. I would not do such a thing. I would not, I am above that. Don't lump me in with those people. But no, they're just using it as a disguise. Anyway.
That's okay. Them and Justin Downing, maybe they can hang out together.
Yeah, there you go.
But I agree with you.
Yeah.
That
Same bill
this
with
is
Indians
just
round the kids to heaven. Like, yeah. That's like the new take on it. The Protestant
just
take on it.
Them.
God, you just move them to heaven because God's not going to send kids to hell. Well, Does it say that in the Bible? He won't. Well, no, it doesn't say he won't in the Bible. But I mean, does it say in the Bible that he is the way, the truth, and the life, and no one comes to the Father but by Jesus? Well, yeah, he says that. Okay, did those babies, did they come to the Father through? Well, no. Okay, so are they going to? Well, I mean, it doesn't say it, but there's got to be a rule somewhere. God would not do that. Well, okay, so you're becoming more. You're imposing your version of morality on your God, because you're not willing to accept that he might have a different moral take on it than you. I think God is going to torture people forever who never had a chance to hear about his religion, never had a chance to hear about Jesus. It doesn't matter. It's not his obligation to get them that information. They don't get it. They don't get it.
If you have a kill count in the planet full, maybe you're not the good guy.
Well, I mean, they had it coming, right? It's like, hey.
They had it coming.
What's the Brett Keane thing? Oh, God, these people, like, what can God do? Like, they look at the world today and see all the problems, and they say, why doesn't God do anything about it?
So I will
when
say,
God did something about it, when God did something about it, they hold that against him, too.
I'm hoping he's changed his opinion. Because I've seen him hanging out with a Satanist more, and I'm hoping that he has since left Christianity. Because my goodness, it's like a cycle.
He's in the past like 5 years, he's converted and deconverted probably 3 or 4 times, maybe more. I don't know, that I'm aware of. I don't really hold much hope for him, but hey, you never know.
And what's up, Lunar? And what's up, y'all? What's up? If we didn't say hi to you, keep on saying hi to us, and we'll say hello, hello. But I think it's time to go into the opposition viewpoint. We are going to listen to Russell Brand's I Got Baptized.
God. Yeah, Shane.
We will be skipping his...
Is he Robin? That doesn't
surprise. Really? Oh. Well, I will say, it reminds me of Adam Lore, who is now a theist, I think, unfortunately.
Really?
Yeah, I think he eventually, I think he found Christianity.
Oh, boy.
And it reminds me of this stuff, is that if you are a conspiracy theorist, it really doesn't surprise me that you eventually find an end game in one of the major religions.
Oh, I mean, it's like there's a guy I know sort of in my family who through marriage, not blood, but who has always dabbled in conspiracy theories, which to some extent I can understand, but some of them sort of make a little... I mean, some of them have like a kernel of truth to them or a kernel of plausibility, but when you go to like, maybe the germ theory of disease is not real, and then a month later, I'm having second thoughts about this whole maybe this Christianity thing.
James, I've been reading the Bible, that's a person who doesn't want to wash their hands. That's all that is.
Yeah, it's never been proven, Amy. It's never been definitively proven, the germ theory of disease, and maybe this Jesus guy is real. Maybe that they just told lots of lies about him over the years to make it sound stupid.
Sir, I understand you're allowed to hold your beliefs, but as an employee of Wendy's, we are going to have to ask you to wash your hands.
Is that Shane Bilowitz? That's Xerxes, right? Who became Catholic? Who used to be on
Xerxes did become Catholic.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. And
we lose them once in a while.
What always happens is it becomes very touchy for them to defend their beliefs because they're almost never for good reasons. Like we've tried to talk to, I think, Xerxes about why he converted, and it becomes a very personal thing, which is already very unconvincing to many atheists when it has to be so personal.
Well, you know, because at some level he knows it's not rational, and if he gave his reasons, those would be ripped apart, and that would have nothing. So,
well, not to go back to Justin, but it reminds me of when he first came out. He said that he converted because of Kalam, and everyone wanted to debate him with Kalam, and he was just eventually got to a point where he's like, "Oh, enough Kalam." It's like, what do you mean enough Kalam? That's the reason why you said you converted.
Well, you look at like why does it matter to be like Christians? Why is Russell Brand coming out and doing this? Why is he coming? Why is the Christian? Why are they promoting him? So he's just one guy. Well, it's because at some level they probably realize it's not rational, but what they want is they actually use the fact that other people believe it too to strengthen their faith. Like you believe this stuff too, right? Like the Bible, the Old New, yeah. You read it and you think it makes sense too, right? Yeah, totally. You read it too. You actually think it makes sense. This whole sacrificing himself to appease himself. Yeah, it makes sense to me. Okay, all right. Well, if it makes sense to you guys, then okay, because they know at some level it doesn't really make sense.
It also. Again, just like James is saying, I thought these people knew better. I thought that, and it sounds terrible to say it like that, like, oh, you should know better. But yeah, I thought that as crazy and cuckoo as Russell was, and as Xerxes was, well, Xerxes wasn't crazy, but as a philosophical as he was, I understood that maybe he would be more within the syllogistic realm. I understand that, as someone that was out there and full of kooky ideas, that Russell, maybe open to shoving crystals up places. I didn't think that he was going to go full Christian.
You're not?
No, I do that on weekends as well, but that's not for religious reasons. That's just because I like to see things glow. Yes.
You really, in our culture, you really have to go full Christian to truly virtue signal, to truly say you're a good person. I mean, that's just so cliche, like, oh, I'm spiritual. Yeah, no. You gotta go, you gotta take the plunge, gotta go baptize, take the bath.
But I also love it's saying stay free, the Stay Free podcast with Russell Brand. But it's about submitting yourself to a Lord and Savior. It's about
a God
making yourself unfree. All right, but we're criticizing before we even get to it. Let's get into it. This is I Got Baptized. Apparently, he's hopefully going to tell us why. We are going to skip the commercial in between. Let's do it.
Spiritual awakening across the world, there appears to be a return to religion. Now, I've made my personal opinion clear, and I will elucidate, illuminate, espouse, expound, proselytize on that further in a moment. But I will say that there are a lot of people that are joining other faiths as well. And I personally do not feel
like how already we're getting to proselytize. I get that he used a few words, but it spreads and it spreads. That's the goal.
That I can do anything other than speak for myself. And obviously, if you were asking me for my personal recommendation, I could only use my personal experience as the basis for a personal recommendation. But across the world, this seems to me like a time where a set of values not derived from the materialist culture are becoming increasingly relevant. When you look at that ghoulish gala that was the White House press correspondence dinner, it's pretty obvious that
I thought it was a pretty funny White House correspondence dinner. I even thought Joe Biden was pretty funny. I know his speeches are made by other people, but yeah, as is the late night shows in general. So
we are a rudderless society, damned and doomed. Obviously, I've been through a lot of things personally. I know you've been through a lot of things personally too. But for me, I've reached a point.
James got summoned by Satan. I want to give a shout out to our single sponsor that we have, Hell Holes, the one place that is warm and toasty in hell. Come by at Hell Holes. You can burn and rot forever. All right.
Where the figure, the personage, the presence of Christ became overwhelming, unavoidable.
I just want to point out, though, how on the nose it starts. Like, if you thought he was going to, like, beat around the bush, or, like, maybe he was just looking into it, there is a gosh darn Jesus on my screen right now.
Welcome, necessary. Like, suffering is not fun, is it? You know what it is to suffer, right? You know what it is to lose people. You know what it is to be attacked. You know what it is to be persecuted. You know what it is to sometimes feel the actual presence of evil in your life. Where do you turn to? Where do you turn to
other people
in those moments?
Ourselves.
Well, a lot of people across the world are turning to religion. Were you struck by the stories about Bishop Marmari Emmanuel? He's returned to work after surviving stabbing. This is from Avi Yemeni. A little post on him returning, and indeed still saying that he is against censorship. There's been
you should never attack people. We should be trying to convince people how to think and be skeptical. And obviously, in self-defense, you should defend yourself. But sending love also to Salman Rushdie, who got attacked just for writing his books and for writing fiction. And yeah,
some reports on me getting baptized. Now, obviously, someone like me who's for a long time was associated with, I don't know, a decadent, hedonistic Hollywood lifestyle, maybe a move like this. I mean, you tell me what you think about it. A lot of people maybe are
once again just kind of stereotyping, because
look at me. I've got all this money in. I'm still lowering myself. I'm still humbling myself.
Yeah. Still humbling myself to Jesus, to the Holy Spirit.
Surprised by it. I think it is surprising. A lot of people, like David Icke, has said that, you know, that he has some problem.
And there we go. I know that we kind of did give the spoiler halfway through our open house, but ladies and gentlemen, he's very sad that David Icke is, you know, taking him to task, someone that he looked up to.
With me turning, have a look. Candace Owens converts to Roman Catholicism.
Ironically, David Icke, his bashing of Christianity is actually a little bit on point. Like, he'll tell you that Christianity
that is the funny thing, that in this weird way, it seems like David Icke is an atheist. Which is kind of funny.
He is an atheist. He just believes.
But this is what I mean.
These other
things. I'm happy he's an atheist, but I still view skepticism as the top level. And clearly David Icke is anything but a skeptic. But yes, in this scenario, it is like that time in the movie where that guy that you defeated, like to the side, eventually has to come over and I guess defeat the villain. In our analogy, I don't know how we got into superhero analogies. Nonetheless, yeah.
Vladimir Brook and Jordan Peterson's wife, Tammy Peterson, who I know, and who's a lovely woman, while Russell Brand does the rosary. Indeed, I do. What the F is happening to the mainstream alternative media? Now, like,
I love that word. James, do you see what they just said? Do you see what that terminology was? The mainstream alternative media.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that implies that there's an alternative media.
Well, I mean,
I want to be part of the alternative.
There's the mainstream media, and then there's like the mainstream alternative, like Alex Jones. He's the alternative mainstream. He's alternative media, but he's the mainstream of the alternative.
Mainstream.
Yeah.
When you want a conspiracy, but you want it to go down smooth.
Yeah, exactly.
You know me, I've known about David Icke and known David Icke a long time, and I admire David Icke, and I can't wait to have another conversation.
Once again, so this is the type of person that he admires, and so it's a surprise, a big surprise that he's going to religion.
I mean, I don't know. I've never met David Icke. I don't know if he's a bad guy. He has a lot of silly beliefs. Definitely has a lot of silly beliefs, but you know, it doesn't mean you can't be friends with a guy or have who disagrees with you, or you know.
Oh no!
Yeah,
I would almost say sometimes I'm drawn to people who disagree with me.
Yeah,
but nonetheless,
I haven't read enough of his like recent stuff to know if he's like going completely off the deep end. But he's pretty much out there.
He's well, he's not part of the alternative. The mainstream alternative media. I mean, come on.
I've never heard him say Mustache Man was a good dude. Never heard him say.
Oh my
goodness,
like
that crazy.
Yo.
So
that was also an amazing event on TV. Just to see Alex Jones like have to do a reality check and be like, well, no. I mean, those were the bad guys. You're just saying that to get a reaction.
Yeah, no. He was bad. He was bad. Not good.
Specifically about this, because David Icke has contributed some important ideas and themes to the conversation of, well, that's whether you call it awakening or anti-establishment, whatever you call it. He's really participated, and he's the OG, is he? You know, maybe some of you might say, oh, well, what about Alan Watts or Terence McKenna or the Beats? You know, David Icke, when it comes to certainly some of the more what was once regarded as the realm of the conspiracy, David Icke has done some extraordinary stuff. They talk about freedom of speech and convert to the church with a long, long history of mass murder for the crime of having a different opinion. Extraordinary. Something's going on and it's not good. Now, of course, many people are aware of, how can you not be aware of the history of the church? Hurl all the abuse you like, it doesn't matter to me.
David Icke exposes religion as a tool of control, societal control. That is like, not everything he said. He does say a lot of crazy shit, but it's not all crazy. Like that is true, that religion is a means of social control.
That is where we're going to continue to be in a weird situation. That is, if he's an atheist and he's criticizing them for being religious, it just shows you that I would not use, if I was building a resume, let's say, that David Icke would probably not be my first choice.
He's not your mentor that you're going with?
He's not my mentor, no.
Is so rampant. So this is something that I feel like we have an opportunity to address. Why is it that people are turning to faith?
What do you think about the man bun, though?
Greater share of young adults say they...
It could be cute. Here's the thing with Russell Brand, is that he has a history of being objectified by women. And so, like, I could give his beard test because he does have my normal thing. I'm okay with the long hair. He could do a little bit of tending to the beard, but it's not bad. This is within the realm of like the attractive. Yeah, any longer, and it could get a little shaggy, but. I never criticize for color either.
A little bit of shaggy.
The natural aging is always okay because you're going for the daddy look. Once again,
doesn't look like 25 anymore. He's not. He's moved on from that phase.
So those two things. I liked him when he used to be this up and coming, what appeared to be intellectual comedian. It saddens me that he has become this TMZ apparently Christian.
That's right. God equals square root -1. Religion can never reform mankind. Religion, it is it's mental slavery. It's locking your mind in a box.
This is why his "Stay Free" is just such irony running on in the background here.
Oh,
I mean, they'll tell you like slaves for Christ. Like they'll even tell you like use terminology. Slave for Christ.
I despise that type of terminology, just like the Lord and Savior. And I get it. They say when they're a slave for God, in their head, they reinterpret it to be so beautiful and wonderful. But I don't know. From our perspective, it's
like your femboy. He wants to be your slave. That's fine. I want to be Jesus' slave. Yeah. Therefore, that's fine. I can choose to be his slave. Or, I mean, you don't have to choose to be his slave. You can choose to go to hell. I mean, so he gives you a choice, slavery or hell. You have the
difference is when I want my femboy to go watch go with us to go watch a movie, we can physically go watch a movie. But God, who claims to want a personal relationship, seems to be MIA. Like I keep on waiting.
You mean the femboy could, if he wanted to, go somewhere else that wasn't, him being doused in gasoline and lit on fire. But God doesn't give you that option, does he? You can either be his slave or doused in gasoline, lit on fire forever. Make the choice.
Yeah, cry about it. Boo-hoo.
It's a free choice. Yeah. No pressure.
Okay, let's have a look. A greater share of young adults say they believe in a higher power or God. About 1/3 of 18 to 25-year-olds say they believe more.
And I would like to see more studies of this.
Only 1/3, though. Only 1/3.
Gen Z is the least religious generation. Millennials were the least generation, and then Gen Z was the least generation. Alpha, which is the one after that, I mean, maybe, but maybe it's because
generation.
I just find this surprising. I would like to see where this was, and if it's talking about the world as compared to countries that are not being controlled by, there's a lot of secular countries that are doing amazing and their religious demographics are going down, not up.
Well, you think in a way this might be like a revolt against like the these Gen Zers and their test anxiety and their all these crazy shit they come up with, and it's like a revolt against that, like a reactionary response to go back to the tried and true, beer drinking, real man believe in Jesus type
real
of
man.
Real men believe in Jesus.
Than doubt the existence of a higher power, up from about 1/4 in 2021, according to a recent survey of young adults. It's always been assumed that Christianity in particular was in decline. And of course, the arguments about the Crusades, the corruption, the Catholic Church pedophilia scandals, these are all things that people understand. The potential.
He's like, well, I mean, there's a little bit of, there was that whole pedo thing. Yeah. And he used to give such shit to religious institutions. Once again, don't know why he's now leaning into one.
Which, I mean, to be fair, to not be too biased, every large institution has that problem.
Sure. Well, the problem is that they found out and then they did not give them up to the police. They passed them around. But yes, it's not like they're the only one that has not only
and the people who have those proclivities are going to seek out the bad ones who don't mind hurting people. The evil ones, the more evil ones, are going to seek out positions where they can have access to people to victimize. So they will do that. Which is like what's this video that came out that's supposed like shocking, like, oh, like they found like, oh, Nickelodeon, there were some predators. Well, no shit, of course there were. That they're going to be attracted to things like Nickelodeon. I mean, that's unfortunately that's going to be, you know, a thing.
But just to point out,
doesn't mean you find them, you don't get rid of them, but
it also would be nice if God came down and kind of just remove those people, and yet seems to be very absent.
Why did God program the human mind so that it could be programmed in that way? Why can people's sexuality be made into these deviant forms where they want to victimize other people? Yeah, why? Why would somebody like Bill Cosby, who has all the money, all the fame in the world, will have to drug women to get him to have sex? We didn't have to do that. He did that because he has this fucked up thing in his head where that's what gets him off, is the fact that they're too drugged to be able to say no, unfortunately.
All that pudding pop money, and he drugged
them. Yeah, that's what he's got to do to satisfy himself. He's got to drug women. And but why did God make it so that humans can be that fucked up in the head that they want to, or have a proclivity to victimize other people? He didn't have to, but he did it that way because God is an asshole. He doesn't care.
Apparently.
Compliance and advocacy of the papacy in the Second World War. There are endless scandals around the institutions that have grown out of Christianity. And having been Christian for 24 hours now, I can
having been Christian for 24 hours now, it's just a very weird.
No, and I sent you a video. These new converts, they're all like, because remember, like Khalil, remember he'd only been a Muslim for like 3 months, and he was already doing in his pictures like with the finger pointed up like a fucking imam or mullah. But the video I sent you before, I don't know if you had a chance to watch it, but it's this lady like sitting outside a community center, or like a senior, it's like a closed off building where seniors live, and she's out there preaching the God. She's like, I've been a Christian for like a week now, and God wants me to be here. He wants me to be here. I'm looking for my ex-husband. I need to tell him about Jesus. And you know, of course the police are like, you know, that's all fine and good, but the property doesn't want you to be here. You have to leave.
Here's the problem. Jesus doesn't have a permit.
God's telling me to stay. Well, okay, but you can't stay. And even the cop tried to reason with her, like, oh, like how many times did Moses have to go to Pharaoh to get the people to let him? He had to go like numerous times, and he got turned away. You know, but like, no,
you're about to get turned away, lady.
God wants me to stay. No, I'm gonna be, and then. So you can then claim victim status when they persecute you, they arrest you for trying to preach the gospel. Well, now you're
like, no, lady, we just want to go home and close up shop, please.
You're a martyr for Jesus now. You've been to jail for God, you know.
Jail for Jesus, JJ.
Unravel and resolve all of those complex questions for you. Obviously, I can only tell you what has personally drawn me towards the faith over the course of our little conversation now. But it's interesting to me that people en masse, in particular young people, are recognizing that the material world that I sought to find solace and comfort in is no longer serving that function for many young people. That's extraordinary, isn't it? People are waking up. People are realizing it doesn't work. It isn't going to work. When I was a kid,
full of shit.
I was thinking, yeah, hedonism, excitement, glory, as well as being sort of scarred with a pretty painful addiction and I know an emptiness. But I've heard
so we found out that cocaine and hookers every day for that's an empty. He felt empty after years of doing that, so now he needs more.
And you know, the funny thing is, the only thing that you can replace cocaine and hookers with is Jesus. It's funny. You can try to replace many things, but it's like algebra. That's the only thing that fits.
So he found out that hedonistic lifestyle. He needed more, you know, so therefore it's got to be more. Oh, okay. Find a hobby. Find something you care about.
I know. Start basket weaving or something.
Yeah.
That is almost a defining attribute, that we need a direct relationship with Christ, and without that relationship we will feel hollow and empty
We do?
and bereaved. Young adults, theologians and church leaders attribute the increase in part to the need for people to believe in something beyond themselves after 3 years of loss. 84% of the world's population identifies with a religious group. That's extraordinary, isn't it? Members of this demographic are generally younger and produce more children than those who have
we're a religious country, but I'd still want to check these numbers.
no religious affiliation. So the world is getting more religious.
Yeah, consider
not
the source.
less. Thank God for our commercial partners. They make our life better, and particularly in the case,
they make it better.
And I said we were going to skip this. He goes into
argument ad populum. Yeah, like, hey, yeah, we know that traditionally most people have been religious. We get it.
If you want your code, right there, baby. We're getting into juice or something. Miracle juice, true lean. We're selling how to get leaner. Okay. Anyway,
it's got electrolytes too, Shane.
Oh my goodness, this has exactly what plants crave. That's crazy.
Electrolytes. Well, why? Why does Brondo have electrolytes? What they used to make Brondo.
James,
why?
Why
did they put it in Brondo? Because Brondo's got electrolytes.
But not only that, but you wouldn't want water because that's from the toilet.
Like water? Like in the toilet? That's just stupid. Why would you want to put water on the crops?
All right, but his website was up. That's as much as we'll send to him. Here we go.
Stuff's delicious. I can't get enough of it, but then I have an addictive personality. Let's get back to the content. Of course, the key idea that we have to address, or certainly one of them, is the idea of hypocrisy, and indeed the idea that religion causes wars. These are central to the arguments of atheists like Hitchens or Richard Dawkins or Daniel Dennett or Sam Harris, that religion as an ideology, with the various religions, but they often
he got them all.
And I'm all up for religion causes war. I don't think it's the only thing that caused war. I think that's where that argument gets straw man. I just think that it's a major cause of conflict between humans.
But you know what? Even if religion never caused a war, it would still not be true.
Yep.
Okay.
Indeed.
It would still not make it true. Just the fact that it's harmful, that it does tangible, demonstrable harm to the world. I mean, that's just icing on the cake for why this is stupid. The main part, though, is that it's just not fucking true. There's no basis for you to believe in it. It's just not true. The fact that it's harmful makes it even worse.
Yep.
Often focus on Islam, I suppose, facilitates violence and death and war.
Never know.
And to get caught in that paradigm is interesting because you have to, I suppose, ignore the endless current secular wars, the Middle Eastern conflicts. Are they under?
That was the one you chose for your first one? Yeah, James, and that's the thing about the Middle East wars. There's no religious element to them.
Well,
in fact, there's something in the Middle East that's causing these two groups to fight, and I can't put my finger on it. I don't think we're ever going to know.
Well, good for him, though. He's just leaning into it. He is putting his chin right out there to get smacked because he is like, okay, I'm going to take the most obviously religion-based conflict And that's the one I'm going to use to prove how like bold I am. Just like, oh yeah, I'm going to take that one. And I don't think that's based on religion. Well, yeah.
No, it's true. I mean,
It's bold,
I can't
right?
imagine anything religious about the Middle Eastern wars. It's a mystery what's going on there.
Written by theology or by territory and resource. The war between Ukraine and Russia.
Well, yeah, it's territory. But do you think that they're fighting over the desert because it's the most beautiful desert? That once again, I'm sure Israel and Palestine is beautiful. That's not the point. It's like, do you think that they're fighting over the desert because it's the most beautiful land that has ever been? Or do you think that it might have to deal with, I don't know, some word that rhymes with schmorigens?
It's ideological, or is it military and economic and territorial? There are different ways to analyze.
Yeah, and so now you're pivoting to Ukraine and Russia, which, okay, fine, that's not a religious war. However, yeah, there are other wars. That's not the point.
You know what, though? Putin does use religion a lot.
Oh, absolutely.
The veneer of religion. So, not that it's a war based on religion, but I don't know if the Ukraine... at least I know Putin uses religion. I don't know if Zelensky does on the other side, but I know he does use religion to appeal to like conservatives.
Zelensky is a secular Jew, and not to continue being biased, but Zelensky is one of us. And I say one of us as in, he's a comedian. And so, yeah.
But yeah, so no, Russia-Ukraine is not primarily a religious war, but Putin will still use the trappings of religion for political gains.
But that doesn't matter. Just because there are other wars that don't have to do with religion doesn't mean that religion's good. Doesn't make a bad thing good.
The origins of these conflicts, and indeed that's what we dedicate a lot of our time to on this channel. So let's have a look at this report on the relationship between religion and war. Religion has been implicated in all sorts of conflicts and violence throughout human history. There is blood on the hands of the faithful, and no avoiding the fact that in the service of the wrong people, religion can be a force of great harm. This includes Christianity. If we consider the sins of the Christian past, critics have plenty to work with: witch hunts, the Crusades, Christian support of slavery. But the picture is much more complex than is often implied.
The Christians who defended slavery had a more biblically accurate view. You have to ignore passages of the Bible to really, and I get that there were Christian abolitionists, just like there are liberal Jews right now, like my parents, that'll eat bacon, even though I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to when you're Jewish.
I mean, he's trying to make it sound like these are fringe elements. Yeah, they've always been there, but they're just the fringe. Like, no, this is like the overwhelming majority of Christians. If you went back to the Middle Age, the overwhelming majority of them would have said, yes, the Crusades are good. They are holy. We need to take the Holy Land back from these infidel Mohammedans. The Christian who would have cheered as heretics were burnt at the stake, cheering it because they affirmed, they agreed with what the church was doing. These were not people who were like held captive. They thought this was the right thing to do. This was good.
The Inquisition. Dinner party guests are likely to nod in agreement when someone mentions the millions killed at the hands of the church, but historians now suggest around 5,000 to 6,000 over a 350-year period. That's hardly any deaths. That's less than 18 a year.
That's a very low estimate. I'd like to know where those numbers come from. It might not be as high as some of the super high estimates, but that sounds really low.
And is this really trying to justify the Inquisition? It wasn't really that bad. If we stretch it over thousands of years, it actually just one death, less than 18 a year. If we stretch it out over 5,000 to 6,000 over 300, yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
Is a long
I don't
way
think so.
from what we are often served up. That's an interesting piece of analysis from the legacy media, and of course, any death conducted in the name of God, particularly if you consider.
James, it's the legacy media because it's not the alternative, the mainstream. I can't even do it.
Yeah,
The alternative mainstream media. I can't even do his fucking
mainstream
bullshit.
alternative media. Yeah.
Mainstream alternative media. I love it. I can't help it.
God to ultimately be love and unity, particularly if you consider Christ to be God incarnate, come to earth to absolve our sins, accessible within to all of us.
So if anyone really thought that he was just once again beating around the bush, no, he's drank the Kool-Aid. This is him becoming a Christian. It saddens me once again to see any atheist convert. I guess it's just convert. I'm so used to saying deconvert to convert. And yet, once again, he was a conspiracy theorist. It's not so surprising to me that he is in the sauce.
I've been on a journey that has been, of course, inspired and impacted by suffering. You'll be aware of the attacks that took place in the media because they were designed to attract the attention of as many people as possible, undertaken by an extraordinary alliance of media organizations, other NGOs, and it appears to some degree or another with the participation of various agencies that I'm reluctant to name at this point. What you might not know is that at that time was that my son was born with some complications and had open heart surgery when he was very young. And of course, in a time like that, if you have a loving relationship with a partner, that is where you'll find a great deal of solace. But I don't know how you feel sometimes.
Okay, I was like, what? Something's a little weird going on. And then I found in November 2023, a woman accused Brand of exposing himself and later trapping and assaulting her in a bathroom during the film production in 2012 comedy of Arthur. There's, in fact, another woman, September 2023, a woman accused Brand of exposing himself to her at BBC's Los Angeles office. James, you know, maybe finding Jesus is less of a coincidence than this puzzle may not be that deep. It may be very shallow.
Yeah, that's right, James. Yeah. I mean, the witch trials, the Inquisition. Yeah, I mean, how many people were alive were killed in the Inquisition? Not many. I mean, compared to all the other people that died. Compared to all the people that died from preventable diseases that God decided not to inform humanity about.
It's like trying to say, hey, you know, there was the Holocaust, but the Earth is 4.5 billion years old, and the universe is 13.8 billion years old. And, you know, if we just stretch it out, it's really just a few people a day. Yeah, cool. But, like, it was a mass murderer. I just am trying to understand the logic. This is also why people can fool with you with graphs. Why people need to zero out their bar graphs and a whole bunch of other.
You can manipulate statistics. Can be manipulated.
The material world and human relationships, they're not enough.
Wait. The material world, not enough? No, I'm pretty sure that we actually have each other. I don't know. We have computers and pretty cool things. We have books and Taco Tuesdays.
We report on this stuff every single day. Corruption, institutional corruption, violence, unnecessary wars, the refusal of the powerful.
Like how he showed two dead. He's showing just a bunch of liberals and then one person who is religious getting attacked. Once again. Oh, no, go.
And you know what? If the natural world, if that's not enough, Too bad. That's all you get. Too fucking bad. That's it. If you need more than that, I'm sorry. I have nothing for you.
Until they prove otherwise. If they prove there's something else, great. But until that time,
now,
natural world.
It doesn't mean that we currently understand the full scope of the natural. We don't. There are more discoveries to be made. The true scope of the natural may be much larger than we are right now aware of, but that's the place to go. Push the boundaries in the natural world. Don't try to invent some ancillary side world that of fairies and dragons. Just push the boundaries on reality.
What's up, James Wolfe? Is this true that it's a Dinesh D'Souza apologetic?
Sounds like
that
it.
The Inquisition Salem witch trials were quantitatively minuscule. Oh, yeah, sure. We tied a few women up to trees and burned them because a cat crossed me on Tuesday. But,
I mean,
you know,
that's basically like the like, if you heard this before, like I don't think Auschwitz, they had a swimming pool there. They had a library. It doesn't seem that bad.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
They had
a swimming pool next to the masquerade. So, you know.
They had a book club.
Okay. Yeah, they had a book club next to the crematorium. Okay, great. Guess it wasn't that bad after all, right?
And exactly, Lunar. You could make those numbers. Like you're just pulling things apart until you get the number that you want. But sure, we killed millions of people today. But I mean, there's lots of days in the week if you think about it.
That's like the Christians do. Like, look, so if we take the population today and we go backwards with this very specific ratio that we've developed, it gets you to 8 people 4,400 years ago. Like, oh, so you mean you figured out what the growth rate would need to be to make that happen, and you inserted that as the growth rate, and then magically, yeah, look, Amy, it happened. Look, if we put this growth rate in,
Oof.
We go from 8 people 4,400 years ago to 7 billion people today. How could you deny that?
It just makes too much sense, James.
To participate in peaceful solutions, the corruption of powerful groups, the desire.
Puts just lots of liberals. Apparently.
If you watch some of Schultz.
I mean, once again, there's a lot of liberals that are full of shit. It's just that there's a lot of conservatives that are full of shit.
On screen.
So you would think that the alternative media, as fair can be, except they're one specific side
of powerful interest to hide.
They're the mainstream alternative.
That's right. They're the mainstream alternative media.
Official measures. We're doing this to help you, they say. It's for your safety and for your convenience. And my whole life long,
hate Fauci.
I felt a calling and mistranslated.
At the very end, we had Don Lemon and we also had Fox News at the very end. One pot shot.
Time after time, as various forms of addiction, substance misuse and drinking too much, and an overwhelming urge to lose myself in concupiscence, continually looking for love in all the wrong places.
But you don't need to create a person outside of time and space. You can find
no matter what.
Yeah, go out and find a real relationship then.
Isn't it extraordinary, any of you that have experienced this already, to get baptized? Do you feel like, how can this ceremony have any real import? How can the gentle, or actually in my case, quite radical immersion beneath water, and in my case, a live river, make
Oh my god, that almost looked exactly like what the freaking title card is pulled
any real
from.
difference. How can
Those are just our two guys. They're having fun, having a good time.
Jesus and John the Baptist, obviously.
the sins of the past be washed away? How can you be born again? How can you awaken anew?
You
I
can't
suppose to answer that question, you have to inquire in what you consider the self to be, whether you're made up just of impulses and urges and memories, or whether or not you believe there is a ghost in the machine, or more likely a Holy Spirit, if you're willing to invite it into your life.
Oh,
me,
certainly no reason to think there is.
Yeah, but if there is, by all means, show up and actually give evidence.
I've reached a point in my life where, for a long while, in fact, I've known that the material world was not enough. And more than that, as many of you are surely already
As
mouthing,
James says, too bad, tough.
it's not even about.
But also, it shouldn't be like a, oh, boo-hoo. There's a lot in the material world. Life is beautiful. I get that there's a lot of pain and suffering, as he was talking about, but there's also a lot of friendship and love and beauty.
But this is like look, Amy. No matter what, you're never going to fulfill all your goals. You're never going to learn everything you want to learn. You'll never be able to go everywhere you wanted to go and meet everybody you ever would want to meet. You'll never be completely 100% fulfilled. And that sucks. So you can either accept that and try to fulfill yourself as much as you can, or you can just pretend that you'll get all that sometime after you die and everything will be fine.
Just want you to know that when you said that, I got very Star Wars vibes. You were supposed to fill your destiny. Yeah.
Yes.
He's trying.
You
were the one.
This I've learned as an addict in recovery. The pursuit of my own goals and my own agenda always leaves me cold and always leaves me empty and always leaves me wanting more. You can never.
Sure. Why don't you live for your daughters? Why don't you get a relationship and love one? Why don't you get, like James said, a hobby?
A hobby, a cause.
Yeah.
Have enough of what you don't really want. For me, this is a new discovery. It is a surrender undertaken in gratitude and in
24
sincerity.
hours, he told us.
And I know that it's not something I'll be able to undertake perfectly, but for the first time in my life, I fully understand that I'm not at the center of my universe. And I say that as a parent. I got three really
there
beautiful.
We go with the humbling oneself.
I also just he's like, for the first time in my life, I realize I'm not the center of the universe. Of course I have kids, but who the cares? I now, finding Jesus, realize I'm not the center of the universe. Okay.
For kids I'm devoted to and dedicated to, but now I know that my function here.
See, look at that. It really is that. Please tell me if I'm strawmanning, because he's saying, but now I really
be of service and to be guided and to no longer be in autonomous or authoritative control of the measures and pursuits that are put before me. And that aligns so beautifully with what we do here on this show and on this channel. This is an opportunity for us to look at corruption in institutions, look at hypocrisy in media, look at a planet that seems to be in pretty serious trouble, and see how individually and collectively we can participate.
You need to criticize the alternative mainstream media. I can't even do it.
Yeah, look at the
problems.
the
alternative media.
Yeah, look at the problems and say, you know what? Those are too big. We can't do anything about it. Surrender ourselves to Jesus, because that's what they say about, like, there will never be peace in the Middle East. Only Jesus can do that, Aiden. Only Jesus. Only Jesus can bring peace to the Middle East. That's it. There's nobody else that can do it.
See, in my head, now it's a Family Guy cartoon where Jesus just come down and he's like, you want a Jerusalem? Boom! Now you have 2 Jerusalems. That's the only way it would actually fix it, and yet I don't think it's going to happen. What
No,
if
he's
money
gonna.
on that?
He will rule with a rod of iron. He will crush his enemies. All the Jews will become Christians, and he will send all the Muslims to hell.
Of course.
In an awakening. So for me, I've done what I believe is unavoidable, inevitable, necessary for me for all of the
Oh my
exotic
God, he's becoming a supervillain. It's inevitable.
exploration, for all of the various drugs and substances, for all of the esoteric practices. I found it in that humble place that was at the end of my arm, at the end of my street, sat at bus stops, sat in churches, droned on about in school assemblies, in Christianity, and in particular in the figure of Christ. And I'm done proselytizing. Your journey will be your journey, but
Which is once again what this is. And
Your journey to open up your browser and go to Pornhub.com.
the internet
Enjoy
is
the
for
journey.
yes.
I'll be praying for you as many have been praying for me, and I appreciate all of your prayers.
And as they often say, you pray for us, we'll think for you.
I've felt your prayers and I've been carried by your prayers, and I will do my best to honor your prayers. This is a conversation we can go on having because, hey, we're reading Mere Christianity as part of our...
Oh, you're reading a book about Christianity and you suddenly became a Christian? Wow. How random.
Because he knew there wasn't enough.
But what is with... I'll talk about it.
You become an awakened wonder, and obviously you're very welcome. And if it's not something you can afford, let us know. Send us an email, help@russellbrand.com, and we'll give it to you for nothing.
Wait. He's asking you to send him money. He's asking you to send him money.
I also like the little tag at the end, which is, but we'll, if you need help, we'll still give you Jesus. I know they love to give these type of books away because it's a form of proselytizing. It's not just out of the goodness of their heart. They want you to join their group.
Well, yeah, because then they can tell you other shit. So
exactly.
Once they get you hooked, now you're in. The first bump is free. After that, you got to pay. You know. Yeah, once you're in, then, hey, you'll buy other shit later on.
We need to run this business. We need to grow this movement. But if you want to join us, you're very welcome to join us. We meditate every week. We're reading every week. You can join us for guests, and we make videos every single week. In fact, that's a menu of what's coming up. Use the code I surrender. You can join us. You're very welcome, but I understand you have a lot of priorities and a lot of demands on you.
I surrender with the stay free unironically behind him. Oh, my lordy. All right. Yep.
Your time. Until next time, if you can, stay free.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you want to...
All right. And there we have it, boys and girls, and everything in between. We have been Skeptic and Ranting on I Got Baptized. That was the opposition viewpoint. Russell Brand, who, I mean, he is one of us, talking about one of us, and that he is a comedian. And yet, this path, not a fan. I was a free thinker, a conspiracy theorist, and then a bunch of women came out and said that I exposed myself, and now I found Jesus. I guess that's going to be the new headline.
Hey,
what do you think, James?
Sell the pictures online.
Yeah.
Publicity stunt, trying to get attention, trying to attract a new audience, trying to draw in a new crowd, maybe. I don't know.
Indeed. It just seems like a way to rebrand himself. Get it?
Watching Joel Osteen on the TV and thinking, damn, I can do that. I can do that shit. I can do that.
Well, I bet I can make money.
Yeah, I can do that. Hey.
I also want to ask, it's about to be 2:30 here. What are your feelings on open mics?
I could give it like 15 minutes, maybe, if you want.
All right. We're going to do 15 minutes.
If anybody wants to jump on, let us know what they think.
doing the clicky clack because
They
everyone
love
loves
it. They love it.
I do want to do some midnight rantings upcoming because to give us the community longer open mics, and eventually I'm going back just in some impromptu debate use into Discord. I may drag James into some of those as well, depending on the time. But I want us to have some more conversations with theists. What's that? Summer is coming up. Oh, I am so excited. You have no idea. I have enjoyed what I do. I'm looking forward also to next year because I think you get better at it each year. Nonetheless, looking forward to summer. I want to get.
It's your first full year, so you're
yes.
You know,
my professorship is much easier. I'm caught up right now on grading in my professorship.
Don't say that.
So I know, which is crazy. Well, James, this is the thing. If I can get just fully everything under, I'm going to have a life again. It's going to be great, and we are going. That means we are going to be doing more podcasting. I know I've been threat promising that for a while. It's coming true. I'm just a snail.
You've been threatening Brett Keane with that.
Oh my goodness! I need to go onto his channel. I need to go into apologetic channels and Dawa channels because they are guess where the fun is.
You can go back on EA Dawa in about 10 years. Another like 10 or 11 years, you can go back on EA Dawa.
By then, Aisha would be illegal.
Yeah, you'll have to get another one. Can relegate her to the cellar.
I've always tried to formulate a bit on stuff like
Henry
that.
VIII.
I can't. But it's like, when they get older, do they just chuck them away? They're just like,
they don't see them as much.
You're old now. You're 19.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, basically that's like Henry VIII, like his first wife. That was basically like how old was he when? How old was Catherine of Aragon when Henry VIII annulled marriage with her? She was definitely in her 30s. Let me see.
My goodness, baptism. I like going to the water parks. It's kind of the same. I like the extremely non-traditional ones. Like the ones that happened during COVID where you see people get like hit in the face with water. Like the
What are you talking about?
Like during COVID, we couldn't be near each other. So I saw priests who like had water guns and would just like spray people with water.
Oh, for baptizing?
Yes.
Now, I don't know. I'm not trying to be culturally insensitive, but I'm aware that there's like it's like a cultural thing in Poland, I believe, for Easter, where Christians like carry buckets of water around and douse each other in them. Like go around just dousing the people with buckets of water. I don't know.
All right.
It's like a Catholic thing over there.
Sounds like a fun time. But
hopefully it's not. Fortunately, it's not gasoline and then blowing a match on.
That's definitely
that would be what God would do, right? That's what you can either do what would Jesus do, or what would Jesus do, or what would God say? You can't do what God would do because then you'd be in prison.
Yes, or dead.
So what would Jesus do? Like you have your Jesus in the fig tree where Jesus walking with the disciples, and he saw a fig tree up there, and He was really hungry, and so he ran up to the tree. And then this guy who's God, who's omnipotent, all-knowing, he forgot that it wasn't fig season. And he had all these magical powers. So instead of making the tree just sprout figs anyway, because as God he could do that, he got pissed off and he was yelling at the tree and he was cursing at the tree.
Got angry.
And he said, "You're never going to produce fruit again." He killed the tree. It's going to be a dead tree. It's not going to produce anything ever again. So that's what he would get mad and he would get pissed off and start yelling and cursing and killing the tree. That's what Jesus would do. To do that, get
Very
mad,
holy.
yell, curse, get pissed off. It's okay because it's what Jesus would do.
Apparently, you would also sell everything, which always I think they try and make it sound like he's.
You're gonna
so
sell everything,
holy.
right? Not
Exactly.
Not me. You sell it.
And leave your family and follow him. Now, once again, they try to make this sound like, oh my goodness, he's so holy. He's just telling you to get rid of all your belongings and leave your family.
If you want to be worthy of me, you need to hate your family. You need to hate your family. You need to hate your mother, your father, your brother, hate them, because your love for me should be so strong that it would be like it would seem like you hate everybody else because you forsake them all for me.
Yes, that's true love, when you hate everybody else.
Right, because you love me that much. Because I'm God.
I'll also say the two things. Let me see if I can not bait. I mean, just drawing Christians that I just keep on trying to say. Two things. There is Jesus did not view himself as God. Most likely, if there was a Jesus, he viewed himself as one of the sons of God, which is a common expression used by Solomon and other prophets. And he didn't think that his mother was a virgin, which I think would be the funniest thing. If you actually thought that, just going around thinking, oh yeah, my mom was a virgin. She didn't have sex. I
mean, as crazy as it sounds to you, though, if you've been brought up and you just accept it as it's not even anything that like pierces your mind. It's just
I get you.
Yeah.
But I mean, that means his mother would have had to have raised him and told him and said, "I'm a virgin. You should think it. You should believe it." Come on, tell me that's not hilarious.
God, so he would have known, right? So he wouldn't have to
sure.
He would have to rely on her. Like he knows everything. He's God. Right?
But that's fine.
Which is
me
kind of funny.
Funny. Come on. It has nothing to do with it. It's either it didn't happen, and that's funny because the whole, Mary lying, or he did know, and him knowing equally as funny. That means you have to go through your life knowing your mom was a virgin. That's kind of funny.
I mean, you probably didn't think about it much, right? I mean, how often do you think about your conception?
People would go up to him all the time and say, "I'm gonna your mom," and she would be like, "Oh yeah, well, she's never had that before, so that would be the first time."
Hey, you would just send him to hell, right? Well,
that too.
Actually, that is what Pope Leo X, he liked to build massive cathedrals, and he bankrupted the church for money right before the Reformation, and so you would send out these people to raise money, sell indulgences, sell different things, and one of the monks he would send out, Father Johannes Tetzel, he was the Dominican. And he would, I believe he was the Dominican. He was famous for like scaring people with the fires of hell if they don't give him money. But that was actually what he started saying, because Protestantism was starting to catch on. People didn't believe in purgatory, so people were like,
Also,
not buying
James,
indulgences. Yeah, I see that.
We only got 7 minutes left, so I'm gonna get her on.
But,
I feel bad. Did you finish what your final
almost
sentence?
1 minute. Yeah. But what actually made them retire him and send him back to his convent was him saying that he could save the soul of the man who would rape the Virgin Mary. And that was like okay, he's gone too far now. This guy's got to be, not let back out of his cloister, his monastery for the rest of his life without supervision because he's going to say stupid shit. Yeah.
We're going to keep him in the tower over there. But okay, we're going to get Stephanie in, and she's probably going to be our first and last, because we have been, in fact...
I am the Alpha and Omega. And I'm in church, so look over here, look over there. The baptismal fonts down there. I'm dipped and washed in the blood of the Lamb. I love you people, but, you told me I had 15 minutes, and I saw that 8 minutes ago, so I've only got 7. And I just wanted to drop in and say hello, because it's been a long time. Amy Newman and James W.
Hello.
It's been a while. How you been?
It has been so long that I saw a concert where they sang that song. It's been a while since I held my head up high. But I've been pretty fantastic. How have you been?
Reference.
I've been in the doldrums, and it's been winter and stuff, but I spent my day, a fair amount of my day today, just sort of never mind just sort of. I measured, I helped measure 3 boats for a competition in our upcoming series, and that was fun. It was fun to touch keels, touch grass, hang out with my friends, and not have to deal with all this God horse shit or political horse shit or horse shit. I mean, I could deal with horse shit if it was shoveling out barns, which that would be cool.
If there were horses.
Yeah, but really, we've got bigger fish to fry, more fish to catch in all of our lives than worrying about gods and worrying about picking on the way we live our lives, right? It's like, can't we just have fun? Wouldn't that be more fun?
No. This life, all your hopes, all your dreams, everything you want, like, it's all worthless. It's all meaningless. It's all about glorifying God. That's the essence of wisdom. You see, it's not about you. Your life has nothing to do with you. It's what you can do for Him.
You know what? If your God is a pissant jackass who doesn't think you ought to have fun, then maybe you ought to reevaluate your system of belief.
Oh,
I mean, if I don't mind a God who says, "Hey, go kick some ass, go have some fun." You know what? You only got a few years, and then you'll come back and see me, and then you'll have to account for, did you have fun? Did you treat people right? Did you treat people shitty? Did you do whatever you did? If you want to believe in that kind of God, the God that says go have fun, as opposed to the God who says, I hate you! I hate you! You're terrible! You were born terrible! I don't know why I fucking created you in the first place, and you're gonna have to come back to me and justify all of the reasons why I shouldn't hate you! I mean, that's the God of Christianity, and that God can go fuck himself.
But Stephanie, you have no purpose in your life. You know, the real purpose of life.
Fuck you,
It's
James. I
dying,
have plenty
it's
of purpose
die,
in my life,
go
and
to
I don't
heaven.
need to listen to bullshit from that ilk. From
Die and
anyone.
go to heaven.
Not from
Tell God how great he is.
not from Christians, not from Hindus, not from atheists. And I hear it from atheists too. I hear dismissal of my validity as a human being from atheists. I heard it today.
Well, I have a
From
rule of thumb.
Atheists.
Now, once again, I get a lot of shit not from the LGBTQ, but from religious. And I have a metric. There's 2 reasons why you hate the LGBTQ people, and that is religious or in the closet. I have a third option, and that is both. Now, listen, I
just be an
sometimes, and I've had someone just recently come to me and was like, listen, I know I gave you crap, and I know I was very homophobic, and I need to come out now. So I'm just putting that on the table.
I mean, I'm not very frequently people who are on that side of human experience have to take a whole bunch of shit. It becomes a little bit overwhelming from time to time, and sometimes those of us who have to take that bunch of shit, well, let's put it this way: the septic tank gets full, and we need to pump it out. And we can't call the septic pump guy to come over and pump it out for us. So we do it ourselves. And sometimes when we do it, it might not be well directed, and people hear the stink or smell the stink and hear the stink as the stuff goes on. But you know what? That's just, that's just a function of the amount of crap that gets dumped on us from
Randy Quaid
quarter after quarter after quarter. It's like it seems like every time you say, well, don't you think it's okay to think of me as a human being, you get this pushback. It's like, well, you hear from trans rights advocates, and it's like, why do I have to be a trans rights advocate every time I just simply live my life? I don't. I'm a trans rights advocate when I go measure J24s for 3 guys who want to race this summer, because I'm a trans rights advocate in being myself. And if you don't like the fact that I live in the world and that people accept me as a person, if you resent that, that's a you thing, not a me thing. And if you don't like me saying that I do this, that I live, if you don't like my saying publicly, I'm trans, I have a different outlook on life, maybe you'd like to listen to my outlook on life. If you don't want to listen to that, and you want to say that by my saying I love my life, I love my friends love me, if you want to say that's being an advocate, then I'll embrace that, because I'm an advocate for humanity. And I am very, very sorry that people can't appreciate advocacy for being human includes trans people, gay people, black people, native people, indigenous people, people of all sorts, Christian people, Buddhist people. All of these people are people. If you have a difficulty with someone describing their existence and their humanity that doesn't attack another's, you got a problem. You got a fucking problem. And I got a problem with you. And if you want to call me an advocate for saying, listen, I don't care if you're a Buddhist. I don't care if you're Hindu. I don't care if you're a Muslim. I don't care if you're a Christian. I don't care. I don't care about your belief. I care about what you do. I care about who you care about. I care about you. Do you care about me? Do you care to learn about me? Do you care to have an interaction with me? If your God is telling you that you are forbidden from doing so, then you have a fundamental misunderstanding of what God is. Or you certainly have a fundamental misunderstanding about, you may very well understand about what God tells you to do according to your scriptures. And this is why I am an atheist. I don't believe that God tells anybody anything, because I believe that God is a creation of the human imagination. And you make your God. And you make your God tell you to either love people or despise them according to your own lights and according to your own prejudices. And perhaps you might want to start examining those before you make judgments. You know, and if you want me to get Christian on you, examine the log in your own eye before you call out the log in your brothers or sisters.
And actually, on that note, I'm gonna give a shout out and send love to someone, and then Steph, you're going to also start out our outros. So we're gonna hand it right back over to you in a second, but I want to concur. We should really be accepting everybody that is the society I think we should be, we want to live in. And just want to also point out that you definitely have people that accept and love you, sending love out there. And then I know he probably would say you didn't need to show it, but I can't help it. Sending so much love to Ian Davenport with the $20 super sticker with thanks for being you. And I think that is one that all of us here can appreciate. Thank you so much, Ian, for all of the love and support. We're sending that back out to the Skeptic and Ranting community. But Stephanie, you were our first, which means you are also going to be opening for our outros. We're doing it in. Woo! Thank you, Stephanie, for joining.
Hi, it's been a while, Amy. It's been a while, James. It's been a while since I've been over here to just sort of check in and there are a few things going on. We have I on my own channel have been a little bit a wee bit lackluster, but today I touched some keels. I touched some grass. I touched some keels. I went out and played with my friends, and we're getting ready to. We were measuring some J24s. It's a 2-hour stream. It's boring as fuck. But if you're interested in the way boats get measured and all of this for fair competition, this is what we were doing today. I measured 3 J24s with the J24 technical committee chair over a few miles away here in Maine, and I did that video today. But mostly my efforts have been directed to the Transpositions, which is a new channel. It's called The Transpositions, which happens every Thursday at 0 hour UTC, which you can do the math, right? You know, coordinated universal time. It happens to be 8 o'clock my time, Eastern PM, but top of the hour UTC. You can do the plus or minus depending on where you are. And Bree McCune and Ember Belrad, myself, Carly Chardonnay Webb. Carly is a 14-year correspondent producer at ESPN. We're covering the issues, news, sports, and weather around trans issues that's happened during the week, and we're trying to make that a thing. So please check in there. I've got my channel, Stevie Cast, and I'm
channel?
boring as fuck.
With the trans news?
The Transpositions.
Transpositions, okay.
The Transpositions. Check that out on Thursdays. And Bree's been really kind of driven that whole idea, brought it before us, and we're trying to make it big. We have a Discord. We have a Discord. I can maybe drop a link in there. But we have a Discord that's called the Transpositions. I think is that what we call ourselves over there? Yeah, you need an invite. I can probably Transpositions is the name of the Discord. I can drop a link into the chat on that. Copy.
And then when you come back, Stephanie, I just have also one last. Someone's just also continuing to send love, Mr. Queenan. I see lots of your comments also sending like things like this.
Yeah.
So thank you so much to chat out there. But then we'll also send all of the links that Stephanie sends into chat up on screen. And
I think Amy, I think you have a link to our Discord. Do you not or not?
I might. I have our chat. I remember there was like a group chat. Oh wait, no, yes I do.
Yeah.
Yes, I most certainly do. Okay, invite people. Let's set it to more than 7 days. And no limit. All right, let's see if this works. But this should be the Discord for Transpositions.
Yeah, it might work.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So there you go. That's the whole thing. And love to everybody. That's basically me. So I know I rambled on, but it's my habit, and I had so much fun outside today, just not hanging around here.
Not at all. This is the place to rant, and it sounds like you had a fabulous time.
Yeah.
And
everybody have a better time, okay?
Please, everyone, go have a wonderful time. Just like Stephanie said, go check out Transpositions and all the wonderful content that she does. And then, James, we're going to wrap up. There we go. And then, with that, and Gizmo sending love, I hope you all had an awesome time on this episode of Skeptic and Ranting. I got baptized? No, not us, but we did watch a video from the channel Russell Brand called I Got Baptized. This is why. James, before we just check out the final thing, what was the why? I'm going over the why. The why is just existential crisis. Got caught with a sex scandal.
Pants down.
Pants down. Conspiracy theorists are not too far away.
There's got to be more to life than cocaine and hookers.
Exactly. The whole hedonist thing, which is, I find that it's, I get that you could be an atheist and have all of the crazy hedonists. What is the nihilistic views? I always get the nihilistic arguments, and yet I find that the people who tend to think very nihilistically are the creationists and the theists, who are like, well, if we don't have the guy watching us 24/7, 365, then why should I even order a good steak or insert? Why should I even treat my wife well? It's like, well, because that's a nice thing to do, to be a good human being, to get what you want out of life. Woohoo! Yes, thank you, Mr. Green. Thank you, everyone out there. Where James W. and myself, where we had a good time dipping ourselves like religious guacamole. However, upside down guy, I feel bad, upside down guy. We are going to bed. You can stay on with us as we say goodnight. But there you go. But this has been my co-host James W. with our panel Stephanie, as well as I guess upside down guy right now, and he is upside down. And
I thought you would have killed yourself by now, Amy.
Oh,
you're still alive.
Goodness.
I haven't talked to you in like 2 years.
Yeah, this like
it hasn't been that long?
Wait.
I thought you'd been vaccinated.
Yeah, do you think that vaccines kill people?
Vaccinated. That's why I said vaccinated.
Yeah, I'm vaccinated.
I'm glad you're still alive. I said I'm glad you're still alive. I'm like, holy crap. This person is still alive. And I'm like so shocked.
You're still alive after being unvaccinated, which is also equally impressive.
I know. Did you see the new study where they couldn't give people COVID? They tried to infect people with COVID, and they couldn't infect people with COVID.
Okay.
All right.
It happened this week.
I'm sorry, James. I did this as a novelty thing. I actually want to.
Let's all go kill ourselves.
No, well, thank you to us.
Did you see this? Did you see the Taiwan Gong 17 Dragon capsule being
James
space docked over there? Pretty amazing.
I honestly, if you had come on upside down guy like earlier,
dude, I'm on right now. What do you gotta do tomorrow? You gotta go to church?
No, I'm gonna probably grade papers.
Yeah.
But like the anti-vaccine and all this.
How do you feel about all these teachers kissing kids?
I think that it generally does not happen. Just like James was saying. Oh, good, you kicked it. Thank you, because I was getting close. But I think that generally that's a conspiracy theory, and that we've already gone over how the religious have had all these scandals. And yes, it's true that it happens in many organizations. It's just weird that you also can't recruit people to be LGBTQ and things like that, where the religious actually actively try to recruit children.
I mean, this is the typical thing. How do you feel about all these teachers kissing kids? I don't know. How do you feel about all the priests? How do you feel about all the, these are actual.
Is there a rash of
facts.
teachers kissing?
You come in here and say, how do you feel about things that aren't happening? And and you don't pay attention to things that are happening. You don't pay attention to real shit, you make shit up. It's just, it's astonishing to me that you have the goddamn gall to challenge real people with fake news.
They're made up shit.
Made up shit. It's amazing to me that you challenge fact with fiction and ask us to defend the fiction that you present.
Yeah, it's
bullshit.
question.
It's bullshit. It's a tactic. It's crap. Why are you doing this? You do it because it's successful, because people are willing to just sort of back down in front of your challenge. You think you can overwhelm the world with, well, as was described by what Turd Blossom, what's his name, Rove.
Car Rove.
You watch us, we'll invent reality for you. You don't have a leg to stand on. You don't.
Yeah, they also don't care about women or children. These people that if you actually question, like, hey, should we implement safety measures that would actually help children who have been victims? Should we help moms who have been victims? They're always like, no, they were sluts. And yeah,
Should
no.
You don't give a fuck that Bernard Cardinal Law gets transferred to the Vatican after he presided over the transfer of priests from diocese to diocese to diocese. You don't care about that. You care about something you made up. You don't care about the abuse that went on in the Mormon Church and the Boy Scouts. You don't care about that. You don't care about the real abuse that's going on. You make shit up and you blame it on the people you hate. And where the fuck do you get off? Where the fuck do you get off making shit up when you won't take responsibility for the things that you are responsible for?
Also, this is the last thing, unless anyone else has something to say. But the irony of going up to someone and being like, oh, you have the best in medical treatment that science has right now, and you're still alive? Yeah, they think that we were just going to get the COVID vaccine, and then we all die. That's how it works.
Oh, I mean, don't you know there's all these people?
Amy, I'm not like you. I don't send out love to the people that send out hate.
Oh no, I get you. That's understandable. I just want to convince him to be a skeptic because they think that they're so contrarian and that they're trying to be edgy and they're trying to get that shock value, and yet they're really just being lame. I don't know. Like that. Yeah.
It's just okay. We've got to be real about this. Folks like the fella who just came on to ask us, about teachers kissing kids. We got to be real about the tactics and the strategy and the bullshit that goes on, and work against it. It's like we don't need to be victims. And for the most part, we are. We're more the victims of that system of thinking. We're more the victims of people who buy into that system of thinking, who actually do abuse us. We need to be cognizant of this and push back hard, because I'd love to have a conversation with people who want to understand things. I do not need to have a conversation with people who refuse to.
He's not a
I
serious
don't
guy.
need
He's
to
not
have
a-
that conversation because
He's
what we're dealing with here, I mean, we need to be honest about this. If I do not have an agenda, I have a life. The people that have an agenda are the people that want to take my life away from me. I am not an activist until you come at me. When you do, you should not be surprised to get some pushback. That's not that you're a horrible person, but I don't take the view, I do not hold the view that people who disagree with me on a personal level are evil. People who disagree with me on a personal level that maintain from the jump that I am evil simply for existing are people I cannot have truck with at all.
Ramen. It's a common trope, a lot of these things that they try to not only throw out there, but as I keep on trying to say, many of them are guilty of, especially these institutions. And it's true that there are equally powerful institutions that have those problems. However, they knew and passed them around.
He's just like, he's trying to be edgy, but he's trying to be hurtful. He's really is.
Yes.
Like it's a very nasty, mean-spirited, very
which is
hateful.
Odd, because it seems like, I mean, it means that he has more hate in his heart than we do. It means that,
And I would love to approach people like that with in good faith, with love in my heart. But it is really, really difficult when I am confronted with
so much nonsense,
with the kind of pushback that says you're not real. Because I've lived my life with people who've said the same kinds of things.
I saw
especially in my early life, and it's not helpful to anyone.
No, it's not. And all right, I think I'm going to just send the love out. We're gonna.
I'm joining you, by the way, Amy, and sending the love out.
That's right. On this episode of Skeptic and Ranting, I got baptized, not us. No, we watched a video where Russell Brand talked about him getting baptized and kind of why. He's giving the James Steph, he's giving the normal apologetics that they all give now. And had a good time dipping ourselves like religious guacamole. I do want to thank James W., my co-host, as well as our panel, Stephanie, and the only panel member that we've had tonight that I'm pretty sure, right? I'm pretty sure, yep.
Yeah.
And yes, our fantastic people in chat, our awesome mods who make this stream so great, and lovely viewers like you who make this channel even possible. Please don't forget to smash that like, follow or subscribe, because then you can hit that bell icon to all and join our live streams or premieres. Or hey, why not leave a comment once the video is done? The Skeptic and Ranting Discord server is also in the description below, and in chat you should all be checking out transpositions, as well as our evolving badge system, which you can find by hitting the join button below. Evolution triggers creationists. I go sometimes say
Vaccines
for whatever
cause
reason.
adults.
Vaccines cause adults. I love that shirt, by the way. I have that. It's fantastic. I don't know why it triggers them so much, James. Like, as much as edgy as
you
was
had
being,
a COVID vaccine and you're not dead.
and you're not dead. Yeah, you get a COVID vaccine, your head just goes.
And I've mentioned it before, but I'll mention it again. The guy in the hospital on a ventilator with COVID, guy in his mid-30s with 50, 60 years left to live. He's got his wife there and his 3 kids, and the doctors are telling him he's probably not going to make it. It doesn't look good. And him saying, I should have just took that fucking vaccine. I should just took the fucking vaccine. You know, and yeah. This bullshit actually causes people to die.
Yes. Was it Ben Carson?
Pat Lowinger. I couldn't resist. Total clickbait. Well done, Amy.
That's right.
I
Carson, will say,
long time no see, Pat. Hi, good to see you.
Herman Cain, you're talking about.
Oh no, Herman Cain.
Herman Cain, yeah.
Because he was the.
He was the 999 guy from what was it, 2012, the election. A 9% tax rate, personal rate, capital gains rate, and 9% sales tax.
And you only up your chances of survival by having vaccines. Like, I just to make sure we give out correct information to counter whatever the hell that was. And yes, sending so much love, Pat. It's not James and myself. We did not convert. It's Russell Brand. For whatever reason, another atheist. However, he was a conspiracy theorist. He was not a skeptic. And so that's probably more the problem than
Russell Brand is a very complicated story, I think. Another very complicated story of someone who got famous and tried to negotiate his fame in various spaces and found it was getting traction better here than there. It's like fame is curious. That's a long conversation. Probably not.
I agree. He's because I remember 10 years ago, he seemed to be like, I'm this open-minded contrarian, whatever. And then he seemed to have found, after trying out a few things, he found this audience, and the audience is this conspiracy, anti-establishment, whatever the hell that means. All of these type of things that doesn't surprise me that eventually you would go to Christianity.
Alternative media, not the mainstream.
Yeah, and that's
alternative media.
Yeah, it's the whole alternative. You know, once you think alternative is the ultimate value, then everything is devalued. It's like alternative to what? You know, if you want to be a contrarian, you can be a contrarian to anything because all you got to do is say no.
You know? Alternative to what?
Yeah, exactly.
To whatever you want, James. Yeah. But yes, I think that's Skeptic Ranting Discord links, supporters. Thank you so much. The Patreon, I'll send into the link. Let me make sure. Is there anyone live right now that we can send everyone to? The flavor. We can send them to Oz. That's where we're sending them.
Of course
even
you
sending-
can.
This is the link in chat. This is where we're all headed next. Boom, boom. Oz right down below. But with that, this has been a fantastic episode of Skeptic and Ranting. We will see you all in the next episode of Skeptic Ball Z. Good night, everyone. Mwah.